Good afternoon, good night. I'm not sure what you say in this case. But Merry Christmas, everyone. This is Sensei Claus here at Game Over. And I was trying to wait just a few minutes for people to get into the room. Um, just so I could talk a little bit, share with you guys for a little bit, and just take up a couple minutes of people's time to say Merry Christmas. And it looks like Alex is in the room. How you doing, Alex? I'm gonna give you a wave here, bud, if it'll let me. There we go. All right, so I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. I've been kind of shut in today, and I've emailed or messaged a couple of people to say Merry Christmas, but I haven't said it to everyone. So I started this thing a couple of years ago because, and most of you, many of you have heard this already. Not just from me, but I'm sure from other people. But sometimes when you are the um, when you are the I don't know what word to use in this situation, but sometimes when you're the one who always messages people and are the first one to greet people or give holiday greetings, sometimes you like to just sit back and you like to let other people initiate that greeting, um, just to remind yourself that you're not, because people like me who do that, we try to make sure that we don't neglect people. And so sometimes we test people to see if we're the ones being neglected, if that makes any sense. Now, I'm probably going to put my foot in my mouth or get some kind of feedback from this, but I don't really care. I'm being, for the most part, positive today, and basically I'm just talking. So, but normally I like to try to be the first to give out the holiday greetings and just let people know I care. And so I want everybody to know that if I didn't say Merry Christmas to you today or earlier today, it's not because I'm neglecting anybody. And I know some people rely on that from me, or they'll say, "Hey, you didn't say Merry Christmas today." Um, but again, every once in a while, you like to hear that from initiated from someone else. So that's kind of what I did today for this Christmas. Um, but again, I want to make sure nobody's neglected. So I'm doing this video to say Merry Christmas to everybody else. The people who I haven't heard from today, or the people who I haven't greeted today, um, this is my Merry Christmas greeting. And I first wanted to point out my family because um, for many years now, well, not just family and friends, but I'm going to directly address my family first. For many years, I have been a loner. Um, Even when I was in high school, I remember when I got a citizenship award in my senior year of high school. And the one thing that stuck out of my mind of the principal's speech um, was the way he described me was talk softly and carry a big stick. Now, the original saying is walk softly and carry a big stick. And basically, um, that refers to people who are quiet, but their actions are bold. At least I think that's what it means. I think that's what it refers to. So that's the kind of person I am. I'm usually very reclusive, um, except when or when I'm teaching or when I'm working or teaching judo and stuff like that, where where I have to be interactive and super active. But I think the reason I am reclusive is because I have all those interactions with people, and so I every once in a while like some downtime. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand that, you know, I've been teaching judo for, or at least involved in judo for 38 years, teaching judo for about um, maybe 30 years. I've been teaching judo. I've also taught art classes at a recreation center. I've been a substitute teacher for about 11 years. Um, I have trained, I don't even know how many people in judo and jiu-jitsu. And I own my own comic shop, so I'm, interacting with customers all the time. So every once in a while, I like some downtime or some me time. And I can't get people to understand that without, directly saying it to people. So I hope nobody feels neglected, but I know deep down that that kind of a personality kind of rubs people the wrong way, unfortunately. So I wanted to, say Merry Christmas to my family and let you guys know that I am not neglecting you. Um, and some people can't understand the mindset, and I'll get to that. I'll get to some of that in a moment. Um, so Merry Christmas to my family. And then I want to say Merry Christmas to my Bushido school, to Bushido Judo School. Um, I, again, um, well, let me just say this. The way I was raised in martial arts has changed a lot over the years, quite a lot, actually. And when I was growing up in martial arts, um, the dojo was like a dojo, right? You had respect, and I'm not saying you don't have it now, but respect was at the forefront of your training. And a dojo setting was a dojo setting. It didn't matter where it was, but a dojo setting was a dojo setting. Your sensei was your sensei, and people stayed within that realm of martial arts. But now it's become a little bit different, and so um, this is very difficult to explain without sounding prude. But in some cases, I feel like the martial arts mindset now is transferring from a dojo setting to a gym setting. And my dojo is always going to be a dojo setting. Um, at least I'm gonna try to maintain that kind of a setting. And some people don't really fully understand what a dojo setting is. And it's not that they don't respect people or respect the sensei. It's just that that is not normally what is most important. Um, Now it seems like um, just training and just getting better is at the forefront of people's mind. And I'm not just saying, that happens in my dojo. In my observance and just from what I hear from people, um, that seems to be a growing thing. Now I'm rambling right now, but anyway, I digress. I normally um, am the first usually to say happy or Merry Christmas or even Happy Thanksgiving or any of that stuff to my dojo, but I didn't do it this time because I wanted someone else to initiate that. So someone did initiate that today, and then the Merry Christmas spirit started to flow around in the chat group, and I think that's awesome. I think it was awesome that it happened without me initiating it, because I want everybody to feel about our dojo the way I feel about our dojo, basically. Let's see, someone sent a Merry Christmas. Hyperloops, Merry Christmas to you as well. And cheers to the new year to you also. All right. Patrick, how are you doing? Merry Christmas to you as well. So let me get back to where I was. So I was saying Merry Christmas to my dojo. Um, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on kind of where I was going with my digression, if that's actually a word. Um, and then before I get into that, let me then say Merry Christmas to all the people, all of my friends. In my social media, all of my friends who come into the shop, all of my customers who come into the shop, and especially to the people who have been incredibly supportive of Bushido Judo School and Game Over. I want to say Merry Christmas to you all, and thank you as well. Um, Now let me try to get to what I was all over the place about. So I'll be honest, sometimes I get discouraged. Sometimes I get discouraged because in my mind and in my world, I try to do a lot for people. And sometimes people can't see that because I believe that they think I don't focus on them enough or other people enough. And I'll give you an example. Um, a few years ago, I had some people in my dojo, and I'm not going to name names or call names. I had some people in my dojo tell me or suggest that I should drop my comic shop and focus on Bushido. And I was a bit offended by that, but I tried not to express my frustration with something like that. And the reason is because I want the dojo to stay positive. I want to keep the dojo together. And my goal back then, of course, and still is, was to help judo grow. And over the 38 years I've been in judo, or the 30 years at least, when I started focusing on judo and not just training myself and not just um, wanting myself to excel and exceed. Um, Over the 30 years, I have been putting all of my energy into other people and into my dojo, and now over the past 10 years or so, over the past 10 years, into my comic shop, and also into teaching. And it seems like people don't like when I do that. And because I have all those interests and all those things that I do and all those commitments, some of them get neglected every once in a while. But I always come back to it. It's just not in the time frame that people like. And so people don't understand. And the best example of this is when COVID hit. So all those people were telling me that I should drop my comic shop and just focus on judo, or that I should focus on one thing. And in many cases, that focus they suggested would be judo in my dojo. When COVID hit, I pretty much lost everything except for the comic shop. So I couldn't really teach anymore, teach classes anymore because of COVID. However, I did teach some classes online. And I had some regular students who joined online. It wasn't very many, maybe 3 or 4. And let me tell you, teaching judo online is not an easy task. on a regular basis. It's not an easy task, but I pulled it off somehow, somewhat successfully. But I wasn't making very much money from that. Um, so I couldn't teach judo for the most part. I had maybe 3 or 4 students, I think, and in most cases it was 2 students, because a couple of them kept not showing up for classes online. So for the most part, I had 2 classes, and you can probably understand that you can't really make money off of teaching 2 people unless you charge a whole lot, right? So I couldn't do judo. I couldn't teach judo. I couldn't teach at school because I'm a substitute teacher, and teachers were doing online courses. Substitute teachers don't get to do online courses, so I wasn't getting paid. So I didn't have that. The only income that I had was I was selling comics online, and shipping comics out to some of my regular customers and things like that. So even from that, still, I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was making enough to survive. And that went on for quite a while. And the comic book industry shut down, to add insult to injury. The comic book company or industry shut down. They weren't making any more comics. So I had to rely on the comics and items that I had in my shop. So if I had listened to the advice of some people, I would have been done. So to me, my comic shop is a blessing. And it's not just a blessing for that reason. There are many other reasons why I put time and energy into my comic shop. One of them, for example, is Musicon. And just for those of you who don't know much about Musicon, I was hosting, hosting band concerts, planning and hosting band concerts. And in those concerts, there evolved a community of people that basically just astounded me. And based on the stories that I heard, if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have sacrificed it for much of anything. Because I'll just give you an example of some of the stories that I heard. There were stories of people that people told me or thanked me for hosting Musicon because they were shut-ins, they didn't have any friends, and at Musicon is where they met people that were like them. Or there were stories about people who didn't feel accepted, and they came to Musicon, and they were exposed to an atmosphere where people didn't care who they were, people didn't care what they looked like, or how they dressed, or what their pronouns were. They just felt like they were accepted in a community that cared about music like they did, cared about being accepted like they did. And, they thanked me for that. And there were people who, musicians, who had never played in a band, and they found people here who were musicians as well, and they formed bands and went on to be successful in the community as far as their band. People loved their band, liked their music. They were able to write music, they were able to play music, they were able to express themselves, and they thanked me for that. And just the fact that this community that evolved, they were protective of my shop. For example, I host all ages, no drugs, no alcohol, and they made sure that stuff didn't get into my shop or didn't become a thing at my shop. If they saw someone with alcohol, they would come and tell me, or they would tell them to leave. This is a drug and alcohol free. Sensei doesn't allow that stuff here. That meant so much to me. You have no idea. For the people who don't understand why I put focus as emphasis on my comic shop and that I can't just focus all of my attention on one thing, hopefully this will help you understand. It's not just the bands, it's the programs that I've created in my shop. Like the Gifts for Great Kids, our charity, which unfortunately didn't do as well this year as it did last year. I'm not sure why, but I feel somewhat responsible because, I've been going through a lot. I've been on crutches. I've been going through some medical stuff with diabetes. All this stuff is new to me. I just had surgery. Not to mention the stuff that I'm dealing with all the loved ones I've lost over the years. Over even just a short amount of time, the people that I've been close to that I've lost. That's a lot. So, it gets frustrating sometimes, people not understanding me as a person. Why am I ranting so much? It doesn't matter, but I'm going to keep ranting. Not ranting, but trying to get people to understand. The people to understand why I'm involved in so many things. People say, Sensei, you should take a rest. Sometimes I can't. I have to keep going because otherwise I never get anything accomplished. But anyway, the Gifts for Great Kids benefit concert the Gifts for Great Kids charity. We were, and thank you to the people who donated to that, we were able to support at least one family. And I think part of another family, but we're able to benefit one family at least, partially. We didn't get enough for all of their kids, or didn't get a variety of things for all their kids, but we got them some stuff. So in a way, that's successful, but I really wish it had taken off like it did last year. Next year, I'm going to try to be a little bit more involved. I'm going to try not to have surgery around Christmas. I'm going to try to be more active in getting people to donate, and I'll be more active to be able to go around and get some stuff myself, like I did the first year we did this charity. And then there's Heroes Honor, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when I tell the kids this, they get excited about this at school. And working in the school, let me tell you, for those of you who've been out of school for a long time, it's a bit different these days. It's hard to get kids to or it's hard to motivate kids to learn. It's hard to get kids to focus on their education, or to understand the importance of their education. And to some degree, we were like that too when we were in school. All of us asked the question. We're not going to, or made the comment. We're not going to, or you asked the question. We're not going to use this in the real world. Why do we have to learn it? All of us have asked that question. But the most challenging thing for me is to get kids to read. Because that ties into everything, right? You have to read to understand how to comprehend things. You have to read to expand your vocabulary. You have to read to increase your creativity. So reading is a big part of a lot of things. But if kids don't want to read, it's kind of hard to teach them. So I came up with my Heroes Honor Program, which is a program in which um, kids who make the A or B honor roll. Give me a second. Someone trying to call in. I'll call you back, sis, if you're ever watching this. But kids who make the A/B honor roll, if they bring their report card, they can come in and get a free comic. Because what I found as I was growing up reading comics, the more you read comics, the more you get drawn in to the story and to the action and to the artwork and to learning how to take care of your comics and responsibility and creativity, all that stuff. So it may seem trivial when you're giving a kid a comic book. Ooh, big deal. But it is a big deal. First of all, comics aren't free, in case you didn't know that. So someone spending their money and then giving it to the community is a big deal. Even though I must admit, I did have people donate to this charity, and those of you who donated, thank you very much. I haven't had anyone donate since I first started it up, but I have had people in the past who donated. So I am not even close to being ungrateful for that. So thank you if you donated to that cause. But now it's all on me. I've been giving out comics, since I started the program, and I'm going to continue to do it. So if you have kids who made the A/B honor roll, or the A honor roll or the B honor roll, if they bring in their report card, I'll let them pick out a free comic. Okay. Now, I did have someone complain about that, about Heroes Honor, in saying that it wasn't fair to the kids who didn't make the A/B honor roll. Why not give it to those kids so that they can get better at reading or become interested in reading? And my response to that is to create an incentive for people to want to read or want to do better in school. So, no matter what I do, somebody's going to come up with some negative argument, so it don't matter. But yeah, if you have kids who are making the A/B honor roll, send them to Game Over. I'll give them a free comic. Okay. So, just in those three things alone, the Gifts for Great Kids, the bands, the Heroes Honor, that alone is reason enough for me to want to keep my comic shop and want to put emphasis and focus on my comic shop. Now, the problem is sometimes that it diverts attention away from my judo school. I focus on my judo school. That sometimes takes attention away from my comic shop. When I focus on either one of those, sometimes I struggle in my college work, trying to keep up. And when I focus on any of those three, then I'm at school teaching, trying to grade papers, trying to motivate kids, and then there's a lot of stuff. So those of you who still have some criticism of me, and there are quite a few, but those of you who have criticism for me, Merry Christmas to you anyway. All right. What else? Speaking of criticism, I had planned to be more active since my last live up until Christmas, which was a couple of days ago and beyond. But I had someone get on my live stream who was very negative and it kind of bummed me out because they were being negative while I was trying to encourage people to donate to the Gifts for Great Kids charity. So, in short, um, I get frustrated a lot, and I get disappointed a lot. But um, I have people who keep me motivated, and I have people who are very supportive. So I really want to send a special thank you to you guys. And there are quite a few, but I do want to call out Ben, who used to run Steam Junction in downtown Burlington. He no longer does Steam Junction, but he's still very active in some of the things he does, and um, he still you know spreads the word about people. He spread the word about my shop publicly on his social media several times, and so I want to say thank you, Ben, for that. Um, there is Tyler, the artisan pirate. Some of you may have heard me mention him in my live streams before. But Tyler is a woodworker, and he has created some um, really awesome pieces. But he not only does woodworking, he does um, wood. I think wood burning or wood carving. He does um, 3D printing, and he is the artisan pirate. So he dresses up as a pirate every year and goes out in the community. He does great things. He communicates with people. He is very um, community oriented, which I love. But he also makes me gifts every once in a while and gives me things without asking for anything in return. And so, Tyler, I want to say thank you and Merry Christmas to you personally. Um, there is Debbie and Dana Rucker, who run the camp that I go to every year. They've already always been supportive of Bushido Judo School. They they always send me cards or some kind of holiday greeting, or just communicate with me and tell me how much they appreciate me, things like that. And and of course I appreciate them as well. But I just want to say Merry Christmas to you guys. Then there is Mark and Debbie, who um, have been supportive of me as well. Mark paid for my and supported my promotions because the way I was raised, you just don't ask for promotions. You just live with what you got, and then eventually, you'll get promoted. But Mark, um, he recognized me. He recognized my abilities, I should say, um, even when I didn't, or when I just ignored, what I've accomplished over the years. He has pointed it out to me and reminded me that I've come a long way, and he's been very supportive of that, and I appreciate him for that. Um, there, there were a couple other people. Sorry about that, guys. Who else do I need? Oh, um, 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 Chris and Kathleen. That's what I was trying to think of. Chris and Kathleen, who, I said Mark and Debbie. I'm sorry. Mark and Becky Hunter. Mark and Becky Hunter. They've been supportive of me. They've been supportive at judo camp, and I appreciate you both. I don't know why I said Debbie, but Mark and Becky Hunter. Sorry about that, Becky. Merry Christmas. But yeah, they've been very supportive. Chris and Kathleen. Chris is one of my black belt students. He's stuck with me through thick and thin, been by my side for quite a while now. and is very helpful in, um, you know, supporting me when I need them or if I can't teach judo. And we've had a couple of other black belts who've come into Bushido who have been supportive as well. Kathleen is my club secretary. I drafted her, but she has not complained, and she's been very helpful and trying to help me keep things organized. So thank you, Kathleen, for that. And thank you, Chris, as well, and Brett, who just joined us recently, has been helping out with teaching classes, and been coming regularly to classes. So thank you both. Well, thank you all. Who else should I thank? Persnickety Books. I don't know if I thank them, but when we did our charity trying to raise money for our air conditioner, which we are way off, but it was good. It was a good effort, and we're still trying to raise money for that. But Persnickety Books let us host a concert there, since we haven't been able to host one here for a while. But they let us host one there, and even donated some of the proceeds to help us out as well. So thank you, Persnickety Books, for your support of Game Over. I want to thank Sensei Juan, who has also been supportive of Bushido. He has his own dojo as well. He's named Bushido Judo USA, but he's been very supportive of Bushido Judo School and very understanding. And so, Sensei Juan, thank you very much for all that support. So yeah, I'm trying to get everybody in, but I know there's some people I'm missing. Trey Williams, who donated a lot of stuff to Game Over, a lot of his collection he donated to the shop. There's some people who donated other things to the shop, and Darian Simmons, one of my brown belts, who shows up for just about every class without question. He is very devoted to Bushido Judo School. He does not complain about Bushido. And Olivia, another one of the parents of one of my judo students, who even if she can't come to class, even if they miss a month, she still pays her fees on time and is incredibly supportive of judo. And I felt guilty at one point and told her, I don't feel comfortable you paying when you guys can't make it. And she made a statement that just rocked my whole world. And she said, that where they come from, you support the dojo no matter what. And I'm not used to that because, people are more in the mindset of, if I pay for it, I want to get it. If I'm not getting it, I don't want to pay for it. But one thing I learned when I worked in the prison, and here's a real quick story. I know I'm all over the place, but here's a really quick story. So I used to work at Polk. Well, back then it was called Polk Youth Institute, but now it's Polk Prison, I believe. So I worked at Polk Prison for 2 years as a correctional officer. And 1 year it snowed really, really bad. Now, normally it would take me probably like 55 minutes to an hour to get to work. And but that day it snowed. And so I called them and I said, hey, it's snowing real bad. I don't know if I can make it in. And they said, no, you have to come in. That's your job. You have to come in because the prison does not close. And so if you don't come in and other people can't make it, then who's going to watch these inmates? Who's going to keep the community safe? And so I had to drive in a thick layer of ice and snow up the highway. And what normally took me about 55 minutes to an hour took me almost 2 hours, maybe even 2.5 if I'm not mistaken. But at least 2 hours to get to work. And I was driving at a snail's pace. I think it was 2.5 hours. But I was driving at a snail's pace. And when she said that to me, that reminded me of that situation. But she's right. A dojo cannot survive without its students. And one thing people don't understand about a dojo, especially judo, because judo isn't very commercialized, even though, well, it's not very commercialized in the States, I should say. So it's not as popular as it is in other countries, for example. It's not as popular in the United States, or at least, yeah, in the United States, and definitely in North Carolina, it's not as popular. It's slowly starting to go back again, which is awesome. But it's very difficult to make a living from judo. And I should know because I've been trying for 28 years to make a living from judo, and I cannot. And so because of that, I had to start my comic shop, which also doesn't make a lot of money. And because of that, I had to start teaching, and which also doesn't make a lot of money. And because of that, I'm now in college for all of that stuff. But all of that is a part of me. The dojo is a part of me. The comics are a part of me. I've been collecting comics since I was 8 years old. And much like music for some people, help them get through things, comics help me get through things. Comics help me improve my artwork, which I became kind of popular for. Not so much as I used to be, but you know, comics help me do that. Comics help me become articulate and learn how to read. So comics is a big part of my life. So the people who criticize me for having a comic shop, I'm sorry, but if you can't understand, then I'm not going to apologize, but I'm sorry that you just don't understand. All right, so I'm not going to let my dojo go. I'm not going to let my comic shop go. I'm not going to drop out of college, and I'm not going to stop teaching. I am going to occupy myself with all of that, and this is what gets me back to my original point of why I do so much. Because I get criticism for that too. Sensei, you need to slow down. Sensei, you work too much. Sensei, you're doing too much stuff. You need to focus on you. And the funny thing about that is, people tell me I need to focus on myself. When I focus on myself, I get criticism for not focusing on them. When I focus on them, I get criticism for doing too much. You can't win, right? As my mom used to say, pardon my French, damned if you do, damned if you don't. All right? But let me explain why I do all this. I don't know how all this came out of Merry Christmas, but again, Merry Christmas to everybody. But let me explain why I do all of this. So basically, this is to occupy my time, right? I started judo. Well, I started judo because I love judo, first of all. Well, I started my dojo because I love judo. I started judo on a whim. That's another story that I'll explain another time. But I continued in judo. Started my dojo because I love judo. But back in 1980, it might have been like 1989, I lost my two best friends to a drowning accident. I lost my two best friends to a drowning accident that I was supposed to go to with them. They eventually became my stepbrothers post-mortem. Is that the right phrase, post-mortem? Yeah. After they passed away. They became my stepbrothers. But before my stepmom and my dad got married, we would spend the summers together and holidays together. and they were my best friends. So I lost my best friends to a summer vacation trip that I was supposed to be on. All right, that was in 1989, I believe. In 1996, I lost my oldest brother. In 2014, I lost my first adopted son, and that was a hit and run accident. And I lost one of my judo students who lived right around the corner from the dojo. So not only was he my judo student, he would also come down here, and he was a regular at my comic shop, and he would come down here just to hang out. His name was Robert. And so I literally, and they died within a couple of days of each other. Robert passed away from the swine flu. So I literally drove in the snow again. This sounds like it's made up, but I promise you it's not. I drove to plan my son's funeral in Raleigh, and then drove back in the snow to go to Robert's deathbed in the hospital on the same day. So that was rough. So I lost my first adopted son. I lost Robert in 2014. Excuse me, 2014. In 2017, I lost another judo student who was very close to me. He was a cool kid. His name was Brandon. He was a cool kid. He was a regular at my comic shop. I just thought the world of that kid, as well as a lot of people in the community. But he passed away in a drowning accident also. So that hit me really hard. So think about all this in this short span of time, right? And then in 2019, I lost my I can't remember which one I lost first. I think it was my second adopted son. One of my adopted sons I lost. A second son that I lost. And then a couple of months later, I lost my biological dad. So that was in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And then in 2022, I lost my mother, and I lost another very close judo student. His name was Will. And Will also was a regular at my comic shop, and he was a really close friend. So in that time frame, I lost all those people. And I haven't really been able to get over it yet. Any of it. I'm still trying to get over losing my two best friends, and that was years ago. But then you stack all these other losses, and life has been very difficult. And so I, instead of spending my time being depressed about everything, and trying to and staying focused on all these losses, I decided instead to occupy my time as much as possible, so that my mind wasn't focused on those things. And it's worked. It's helped quite a bit. At least I think so. Because I'm so busy, I can't focus on things that would probably depress the average person. And so that's another thing that people don't understand. And that's why I have all these activities that I do to occupy my mind from all these things. And then still try to do good in the community and give to people in the community, and create a community, a positive community. So I said all that because I just need people to understand. why I am the way I am, why I'm inclusive on holidays, why I um, stay so busy doing other things, why I don't give people more time outside of the time that I already give people. Um, yeah, those are many reasons. But um, on a good note, Christmas. Christmas is a time of year where I feel good, where I feel great, where people are happy and people are kind, and so I'm grateful, and that's why I wanted to make this video to say Merry Christmas to all of you who are appreciative of what I do, who understand me and understand what I do and why I do it. I just want to say Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are blessed. I hope you had time with family. I hope you had, um, you know, um, I hope you were blessed with many gifts. I hope you were able to bless other people with many gifts. And, oh, Doug, my God, I forgot. I did get one Christmas gift this year, and it was from my friend Doug. Caleb, are you playing right now? No. Can you do me a favor and bring that what Doug got me? That what Doug got me. Yeah, I want to show you guys something that my friend Doug York got me, because this thing is awesome, and it was pretty much the only gift I got so far. And I just appreciate you, Doug. So Doug is one of my classmates that I went to school with, and he he's also a regular at my comic shop, and he comes by every once in a while to talk or to buy comics. And he gave me this thing, which I think is just incredibly awesome. Thank you, Caleb. Can you plug it for me, please? And I want to show you guys this because it's just awesome. Look at this that Doug got me. This is a Marvel masterpiece, in my opinion. It's got the Hulk, who is Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. They're all on rooftops, and the buildings of the rooftops are lit up. There's lights inside. There's Christmas lights that go around. I don't know if I'm doing it justice on my live stream, but this is really incredible. And so, Doug, I definitely appreciate you. I meant to say this earlier, but I got wrapped up on my tangent. So, but thank you, Doug. I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate this. Awesome. All right. So yeah, that's why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to say Merry Christmas, everybody, who I didn't get a chance to say Merry Christmas to. Oh, my band on a Monday. I just saw Menard in here. My band on a Monday. Thank you guys as well. Years ago, I used to sing quite often. Something else you guys didn't know about me, but for a very short while, I was in the Burlington Boys Choir. And it was a very brief while because my family just couldn't afford to keep me in it. But I used to sing quite a bit. And I at one point, I actually sounded decent. But of course, over the years, I've lost my voice a little bit. But I still like to sing. And I don't think I'm horrible, but I know I'm not the best. But it's the love, it's the love of music that, is one of my motivators. And so I try to start up this band. And we've been through a lot. We've lost some members. We've lost a couple of drummers. We've lost several guitarists. But we always keep people coming back in. And so right now I've got a couple of people in the band with me. We're looking for a bassist, by the way. And we're going to do some, we're going to start performing a little bit. But I do want to say Merry Christmas to the band on a Monday. You guys are awesome. Stay awesome. I can't wait till we start performing again, playing again. So after this Christmas break, let's get back at it, guys. Let's create some music. Let's make some music, and try to bring a little bit of happiness to people's lives through music. All right. And if I forgot to say Merry Christmas to anybody else, my apologies. And again, that's why I'm making this video, to say Merry Christmas to all the people I missed. My mind's been quite occupied, by the way. I'm still on freaking crutches. I'm after my surgery. Still dealing with trying to learn how to balance diabetes with the fact that I love to eat. I'm still, trying to adjust my life around that. I'm still trying to. My comic shop is looking a lot better. I still got a little bit of work to do on that. I'm starting to work on my dojo a lot, and work a little bit with that. So I'm still busy. I'm still active, but I want to take a moment to you guys to say Merry Christmas. And you'll see me again before New Year's, I'm sure, but just didn't want to leave anybody out. So I think that's it for me. This is Sensei Claus here at Game Over, also with Bushido Judo School. Thank you guys, and as always, stay safe, stay awesome,